Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining today. I'm Carrie Harper. I'm an assistant professor at Wright State Psychiatry and program director for child and adolescent psychiatry. I am part of Ohio's telepsychiatry project for intellectual disability at Access Ohio. And today we're going to be talking about aggression in individuals with ID. I don't have any disclosures. Today, we'll be talking about common causes for aggression, information that's necessary for evaluation, the biopsychosocial model of assessment, and interventions and treatments that may be utilized for aggression. I know you come from a variety of backgrounds and hope you'll be able to use this information in your roles. So we will first discuss the impact and risk factors for aggression. We'll go through a biopsychosocial formulation and the components of that, and then we'll talk about intervention and treatment. I've put in some case examples through each of the sections, and then my references are at the end of the presentation. So to get started, we'll start with a case presentation. Ryan is a 17-year-old male with autism spectrum disorder and mild ID. He also has diagnoses of obsessive compulsive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. He has, on occasion, heard voices, usually in times of very high stress. Ryan is turning 18 in a few months. He's nervous about this, and he feels that there is pressure that comes with becoming an adult. He's also excited for independence, and he expects that he's going to be allowed to make all decisions on his own the day he turns 18. He presents with concerns for irritability and aggression. He's been acutely hospitalized in the past and has been admitted to a developmental center in the past. He's also had interactions with police. He does have a history of being bullied at school. About a year ago, he was being transported by police to a hospital due to threats to himself and others, and Ryan started to become aggressive. At that time, he was handcuffed and pushed to the ground. Ryan now thinks about this often. He also does have an interest in guns, though the family doesn't own any. He does like to make life-size models of the guns out of Legos, and he has found he can use this knowledge of guns to scare others. Ryan does have a supportive mother and father. When calm, he talks clearly about not wanting to hurt himself or others. He has several interests, but most excitedly talks about lawnmowers. He would like to have a job fixing or using lawnmowers in some way in the future. Ryan is motivated to change and wants help. So let's talk about aggression in general. People with ID have a 3 to 4-fold increase in emotional problems and behavioral issues when compared to the general population. I've read research with estimates of the prevalence of aggression in this population between 2 and 50%, but most studies estimate about 15 to 20%. Aggression is associated with other challenging behaviors, including self-injury, overactivity, screaming, and shouting, among others. Most incidents of aggression towards staff tend to be precipitated by a denial of request. We know that individuals with autism spectrum disorder and with ID have difficulty with transitions and changes in general, and these can contribute to aggression. And in children specifically, aggression is associated with polypharmacy or use of several different medications, seizures, cerebral palsy, self-injury, hearing impairment, stereotypic movement, and difficulty in communication. As we think about our case, Ryan certainly has trouble with transitions and has some big ones coming up. He does have fair communication skills typically, but they are lacking when he is under stress. And as we think about impact of aggression, for the individual, aggression may lead to a more restrictive or unstable environment, reduced contact with family, and loss of caregivers. For the caregiver, aggression increases stress and burnout and may lead to injury. In society, we consider the cost of hospitalization or incarceration, and unfortunately, many people who are incarcerated do have mental illness. We also experience negative portrayals of this population in the media of these individuals, populations, and professions, and this leads to the furthering of stigma. For our case, Ryan's environment has definitely been impacted. He has had restricted environments in the past, and his placement may become unstable because of the aggression. His siblings are emotionally distant from him, so it's definitely impacted his family interactions. Parents, as his caregivers, are having a really difficult time with burnout. Ryan knows there's a stigma and feels this, and he experienced hospitalization and incarceration. Aggression has impacted him, his family, and his community a great deal.